Abhijit Shinde is with Borg Warner, and I gotta love what you're showing here because such an old legacy company, so wedded in internal combustion engine stuff. Yeah. Now you're transitioning.
We are in full transition right now. Our Charging Forward 2027, we have a slew of products which are innovative products for high voltage electrification needs.
And high voltage, that's the stuff that turns the wheels.
That's the stuff which turns the wheel. So we are talking about not only trying to set this up locally here, but we have a global presence as well. So we are catering to all of the needs on the in the EV space for our customers.
Okay, well let's talk about some of these displays.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
the heck is this wavy line?
Well, it is interesting. It does look different, but what this is used for is battery cooling. So you have stack of battery cells, right? And every battery cell is going to operate at different temperatures, and it's going to get heated up as it's in operation. You need to cool it down, and the reason you need to cool it down is to be able to optimize the temperature of the battery pack, the entire battery pack. So this
just slides in.
This just slides between the cells.
And this is for round batteries.
This
right?
is for round batteries.
The cylindrical.
It's cylindrical batteries. Now this is one, but you can have multiple of these going in there, right, as part of a battery pack. And this is exactly what it is. So to be able to optimize the temperature, get the right performance, and more importantly, extend the battery life.
Very interesting. So is there anything inside there?
This is hollow. It's hollow. So
really?
the coolant goes in and out.
How do you get this hollow?
Yeah, it is. That's the rolling process. That's our expertise right there.
Wow.
We do this.
Fascinating.
We work with our, we work
okay,
with our
what's
suppliers.
this?
So this is high voltage coolant heater, and this is.
So this works in conjunction with that?
Not really. So the high voltage coolant heater, which is basically used to heat up the coolant, and you can see I actually had this intentionally here to show how the setup is, and what we do is we have a high power density technology which we use as a thick film technology, and what it does is you basically have coolant going in here, and as soon as you supply power from the PCBA onto the heating plate gets heated up and it heats up the coolant. Now why is this required? The coolant is required, the heated coolant is required in cold conditions for two reasons. The battery gets cold, so what you do is you call something called as battery conditioning, and that's really where the battery performance is also optimized. So on this one, you're cooling. On this one, you're actually warming up. And then the second thing which this is used is cabin heating. Now you don't have the engine anymore. Remember, you don't have the engine anymore, so you don't have the hot coolant coming out of the engine. So how do you heat the coolant for the cabin heating, right? And this heated coolant, you have a three-way valve. Some goes to the battery and some goes to the cabin heating. And that's where you actually get the...
So you get a twofer. You can heat the cabin and the battery.
So this is a passenger comfort
and
right
that's
here.
a pretty sophisticated piece of
very
equipment to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, and this, what's this?
Oh, this is the same thing. It's just closed, and it's a different design. And what
it's a little bit flatter.
It's a little bit flatter, and we basically customize this to our customer needs.
Okay.
So sometimes the packaging is a challenge for them. Sometimes just the orientation is a challenge for them. It also has to do with the power rating. Some customers need it at 5, some need it at 7. We go all the way up to 10, 11, 12 kilowatts of power rating.
Got it.
So that's what, yeah.
Okay, and now we got a gigantic fan. This has got to be what, for a big truck or something?
It is for heavy duty applications. So like the high voltage coolant heater, which is used for both the pass car as well as the heavy duty, the commercial vehicles, the off highway. This one mostly goes on the commercial vehicles or the heavy duty.
But this would be for an internal combustion engine.
But this would
right?
not be for an internal combustion
Really?
engine. So
what do you need such a big fan for?
So our legacy of making fan and fan drives, mechanical fan and fan drives, now we are shifting towards what we call as electrical drive. So if you look back here, you have the motor, you have the inverter, everything's kind of integrated in here. So what we do is, this is a high voltage inverter wherein you get the 800 volt power supply in here, right? and this drives the motor, and then you have the cooling fan, which has been modulated. Now this is required on like the 350s, 450s, 550s, you're talking about those class vehicles, and then you jump into the medium duty trucks, the heavy duty trucks like the Volvos, the DTNAs, the Freightliners, all of those, it all goes into those kind of vehicles. Back to your question, is the cooling needs. You might be thinking how much electronics is on this vehicle.
Right.
You need plenty of cooling to be able to do that.
Very interesting. So even if the truck's electric, you still need a big fan just to cool the electronics.
Absolutely.
I never knew that.
And then also your passenger comfort, right? You don't want to be sweating in the cabin, right? So you need air conditioning. How do you get the air conditioning? You need the cooling need. So the whole radiator structure is still the same. Now it's not been driven mechanically, it's driven electrically.
Who knew EVs needed such a big cooling fan?
And we have the best of the products to be able to support that.
Okay, one more. What you got here? This looks like a turbocharger.
It is actually. So our product leadership in turbochargers, right, brings us to this product here, which we call as a fuel cell air supply. So as we talk about the EV space, there's two ways to be able to capture energy. One is battery power, and the other is the fuel cell technology, which is hydrogen based, right? And when the energy is generated, that gets stored into the batteries, right? But the fuel cell pack itself, it has its own dynamics, it has its own technology. And hydrogen is used as a combustion technique, right? The chemical reaction associated to it. But you need boosted air to be able to have that reaction going on.
You have to combine oxygen with the hydrogen.
With hydrogen to be able to do the fuel cell reaction.
So this is really a compressor,
This is really a compressor. Yeah, this is really
But it's electric, so it's on demand.
It's electric, it's on demand. So you basically have a standalone inverter, if you may, you can have a standalone inverter which basically does the current, the voltage switching, right? So that directly drives the fuel cell air supply and provides the.
So it gives you the oxygen that you need.
Yeah,
so this is very interesting. I didn't know Borg Warner was into fuel cell technology as well.
Well, again, like I said, this is coming from our legacy. Our turbochargers, we make them every day, and we have the best turbochargers. So we are leveraging on the technology we can. Yeah.
Cool. Abhijit, thanks so much for your time today. Very interesting what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
Good deal.
I would like to say that thank you all for having us at the battery show here. Please do come and visit us at 2617, booth 2617 in Novi, Michigan. Thank you.